My name is Lindsay.
Hi, my name is Kit.
This is One First the Other.
Long time no see, by the way.
We had quite a long break because I made a baby.
Yeah, and the baby is a secret.
Yeah, and gonna take some time for a child.
I mean, how do you feel as a new parent? Which is very much our today's topic.
Yeah, it does. I'm decent, but also extremely tired. I mean, I just got diagnosed with postpartum depression, so depends on who you're asking. Nothing to do with my child. I love my child.
Okay.
But today's topic, I thought it was really interesting. I read it on, I'm subscribed to The Economist. It's a
newspaper?
Yeah, something like that, like a commentary site on Instagram. And they mentioned that they're starting trials for artificial wombs. So fake wombs, like outside of the woman's body.
So how everything works? I don't know. You have to describe a little bit more in detail.
So it's basically like an incubator, right? So like what you see like in a sci-fi movie where it's like outside of the womb, it's like a plastic wrapping with two tubes on each side filling the liquid on the inside of what a mother would need or a baby would need. What a mother would produce for what a baby would need, and the baby's inside. And so conceptually is if a child is not thriving, like my baby wasn't, in the womb, what they would do is they would take the baby and put it in an artificial womb.
Okay, so that's a little bit different than my concept of like just originally hearing the word artificial womb. I thought that from the beginning, from 0 to 1, from a self to become a baby in a room, artificial room. That's what my imagination is. But if it's, I think it's a good thing if it's for mothers that have issue with their child and are able to help.
Okay, I do agree with you. In an ideal world, the artificial womb would just be used for babies who can't thrive. For example, my child, my placenta stopped feeding our baby. We don't know when, but the doctors caught it at 36 weeks. Supposedly, it's like this random anomaly. And so she was overly small and she was actually starving inside my womb. So they said that she was going to be born at 5 pounds at what was considered a full-term baby, right? So and normally a baby would be I would say a normal child would be from 6 to 10 pounds. So basically a medium 8 pounds on average. I would say 7 pounds would be nice. But my baby was born at 4 pounds, 5 ounces, which means that's smaller than 4.5 pounds. So she was about this big. So normally a child that size would be in the NICU, but she was considered full term, fully grown, everything was developed, everything. For a child like that, let's say they're seeing some type of anomaly, there's no oxygen going to the baby's brain, something like that, they would take that child outside of the mother's womb where it's not thriving, where they can visually watch the child, because the plastic is clear. So they could visually watch what's going on with the child and put it inside of this artificial womb. My worry of it is I feel like your perspective, which is going from 0 to 1, cell to when it's ready to be born. I think a lot of people might use it as surrogacy, right?
What do you mean surrogacy?
Like you know how you have a surrogate where you can pay for someone to have your child in the womb? I feel like it would end up being like that. And I feel like there is an emotional bond that's created through pregnancy that is undescribable. Very.
That's a mom talking.
Yeah, it's unimaginable to describe the emotions you feel when your child's kicking inside you, when she's being born, she in my aspect, obviously with all the fucking pink. But no, there's an undescribable connection that you have that creates humanity. My question would be, through surrogacy, through this artificial womb, would it create a form of detachment, like emotional detachment that you would have inside of the womb? Like, would their immunities decrease, right? Because people like to describe like a womb, right? Like a baby being a parasite inside the belly. But in actuality, the mother needs the child as much as the child needs the mother inside the womb. They're interchanging immunities, which makes a lot of women less likely to get sick and things like that, because the child, the placenta is actually protecting the mother so that it's having the best type of life for the child.
Interesting. I'm not a mom, so I'm very not unknowledgeable on this topic. But I will argue that on the other side, for people that might not able to have child, that might be an actual light.
At the end of the okay, natural selection, in my perspective, is something that's still extremely important. I think that, well, everyone laughs at me when I say I'm religious. It's comical to think that I believe in religion and that I'm Catholic. Haha, joke's on you that I am. Because I'm quite emotionally detached, but like there's a concept of like there's a reason why people are born. There is a reason why like things happen. Right? And whether or not we acknowledge it, like children do die, babies die, and we have miscarriages. Like all of those things are aspects of life. The reason why we get to enjoy life is because there is death.
Okay, no matter what, we have death, but like in the increment of events of medical field, that my argument point back then, humans' life may be shortened. It's only like 60 years old.
And now it's up to 100. I acknowledge that. It's nice. I think that science has given us the ability to enhance life, but this may take it a step too far. And in that sense, I feel as though an artificial womb will cause babies and future adults to lose a form of humanity.
How can you prove that?
I can't. I'm just saying that it is something to worry about when it comes to artificial wombs. Because like there's a sense of closeness, emotional affection that you have for the child that was inside your womb. The way they move, their attitude is different. You feel their emotions, like you can sense it. You know, like I knew my child before she came out. Like I knew her personality.
But that
because she's a jerk. My baby is a complete jerk. And I will say that in the best way possible. I feel like she is strong. She fights. She tells you exactly when she's upset. And you know this by like the way she kicks, the looks on her face, right? Like I could tell that she was going to have an attitude. In my opinion, that's a good thing, right? And when she meets strangers, she doesn't immediately attach. Like I could feel that in my belly. Like with certain musics, with different things. Like I knew that when she was born, she was going to like the best way to get her to sleep was by doing activities. Because the only time she slept, the only time was when I was exercising. That's the only time she didn't move. Any other time when I was lying down, it was like, I don't want to say the word, but girl couldn't stop kicking me in the rib. It's a massive...
But I do feel that if that is the case you're talking about, how about the parents that is adopting child? They don't have the chance to able to provide that environment for the child when they're in somebody's room.
But that's exactly it. If we provide the capability, I think there's beauty in adoption. There's still a humanity though, with being inside of a womb. Like they can sense the mother's heartbeat.
Why would they give up the adoption? That's a reason why. For maybe a variety of reasons, but you couldn't able to confirm the 100% that person that give up the child to adoption have a very healthy relationship with when the child is in their room.
No. Okay, I think you misunderstood. Like, you can't guarantee that.
Exactly.
Like, I never said I was emotionally sane when I was pregnant.
But that goes back to the same point for even is the artificial room.
The artificial room shows, but my point is no attachment. In the womb, you have some form of attachment because you're inside the body of a mother. In this instance, there will be no mother at all. There's no emotional attachment to anything, and there's no guarantee. I'm not saying, in an ideal world, I would say that this artificial womb would be used to protect children and to help with surgeries that may be needed for a child, right? To get them in and out of an artificial womb for the necessities that it needs. Because you wouldn't be able to take a child in and out. Or the fact that, some people have to have surgery while the baby is still inside of the womb. And in this instance, you wouldn't have to worry about that, right? You wouldn't have to worry about not being able to see what's inside of the womb or being covered by another individual worrying about their life. You can shift this child into this artificial womb and you can visually see what's going on to this child. In an ideal world, I think that's perfect, right? Because at least they had some form of attachment to the original quote-unquote maker, right? The baby, the parent, or whatever, the mother.
The womb doesn't provide for the food or dinner or the clothing or the electricity or education. So I don't...
I can see where bonds later on, like, obviously, there's like this, there's this new doctor going around who's talking about how a baby feels abandoned every time the parent leaves them to daycare. Like you're abandoning your child. If you take your infant to daycare, you're emotionally abandoning your child every single day. And it's like you're dying every single day. You drop off a child, right? This is what this woman is saying online. I keep fucking seeing it on my Instagram, and I want to smack the bitch. Like, straight up smack her. Because in today's society, how is it possible for a parent to stay home financially unless they're making a certain amount? And even if that, you're negating the aspect that a lot of people who drop off their child to daycare do not have a choice. Like, I will not have a choice when it comes to her having childcare. Thankfully, I have family members that are willing to come and take care of her for me so that I know who's taking care of my child. But not everyone has that luxury. So to say that a child's perspective, an infant's perspective, that every child that is given to infant care feels like the parent is dying every single day over and over again and it creates some type of detachment disorder. And that's when they're a baby, right? Okay, let's cover her face. She don't got choices. But, like, that's a baby. So imagine an infant that's inside a womb. Like, there's some form of emotional, that's the thing, emotions. That's what creates humanity, in my opinion.
I didn't disagree that you said the mother and the child have a special bond, but not necessarily for every single parent that doesn't have a choice. So I think that's no way you can have best scenario, but everything comes with restrictions.
Yeah, but the thing is I always feel like we take it too far as human beings. If we could, for any technology, look at people created now using iPads to basically mentor their child to distract them most of the day so the parent can get something done. And there's studies showing that children have become more aggressive and even addicted to technology.
Who doesn't? Even it's not a child.
Well, you're right, who doesn't? But that's my point, is that we get an ounce of a good thing and we take it too far. Humans are inherently addicted to pushing the boundaries, right? We do it with food. I admit it, I do it with fucking coffee. If I could drink coffee all day long, I do sometimes.
Just don't be dehydrated.
Well, yeah, I have to drink water and breastfeeding.
I didn't know coffee dehydrate you until recently.
It's okay, so that's the misinterpretation of coffee. Is that so I read this from a nutritionist, is that it doesn't dehydrate you to the point. The dehydration is rehydrated with the amount of water that's already in coffee.
So it means you didn't drink water. Like
you don't necessarily. Yeah, if you're drinking coffee, you're basically drinking water at the same time as you're dehydrating yourself. So you're rehydrating yourself technically at the same time. But technically, you shouldn't be drinking caffeine that much. But at the same time, you can drink as much coffee as you want, and you won't technically be that dehydrated. You'll probably get like a headache and stuff like that. But it's not as bad unless you're like me, an extremist. I like to push the fucking limit when it comes to coffee. But
that's to get back to the same point that you take a little ounce of good thing to push it too far.
Exactly. We do it with food. We do it with addictions. We do it with everything, right? And so we do it with bombs, for instance. Originally, bombs, the science behind bombs was not created to, like, kill people. But then they're like, now there's nuclear weapons. And people just kept going and going to the worst of it, right? What are we going to do? Let's say you... Let's make it like a sci-fi movie, right? Like an evil action sci-fi movie. If you don't want mothers to deal with having the birth of having a child, right? Because you have to deal with the individual who's holding the child. You can just put them in an artificial womb, and you can create your own fucking army.
That's what I said.
Angry babies.
Everything comes with a restriction, and it needs to be reassurance. Why it needs to be restricted. For example, even a company, anything they do, they have some sort of guideline that you couldn't out of the boundary because it's gonna cause damage.
But how often do people actually adhere to those restrictions?
But also you couldn't stop from one. You can stop one type of idea, but you will never stop infinite of people come up with similar idea that have a different interpretation.
No, I understand that, and I acknowledge that no matter what, it's going to be created.
It's gotta happen.
Yeah. No matter what, it was going to be created or happen. Like, if we can make like clones of chickens just to make chicken breast individually by itself, right? Then artificial wombs were going to be created no matter what. Especially if there's a need, there's going to be someone who's going to create it. And there is a need, right? There's nothing a parent won't do for their child, even inside the womb, right? Unless you already have a child prior to.
I don't see the difference when you already have a child and then...
Okay, so for instance, there was a video I was watching online a few years ago. And I understood her point now, and I understand it even more now. She said with her first child, when she was going into birth, she told her husband, no matter what, you choose the baby, right? If it's my life or her life or his life or whatever, you choose the baby. And she said, now I've had my second child. For that second child, if there was something going on where both lives are at risk and he had to choose one, he knows that he chooses me. Because at the end of the day, I have another life to take care of. My child is 4 years old, and at the end of the day, I know that child. That child still needs me for another 16 years. Even past that. That child's born and currently needs me. This one's unborn. And so at the end of the day, I need to make sure that the one that's currently thriving, she's like, I can make another one. It's literally what she said. And I understand the concept. Like, it's a horrible truth. And it's a horrible reality. But if she had said, choose the child's life, there's one parent for 2 children. You know how difficult it is to raise one child for one parent? Ugh. Oh my God.
I look at you, I know.
Like, kill myself. But like, so, 2 parents for one child, it makes sense. You save the child, you save the life in which a parent can be there. You can recover. Can you guarantee that child will ever recover from losing a parent?
Dark.
Yeah, I know. But so I'm wary of the whole artificial. I understand it's the benefits of it, and I do agree it is important to have. It's wonderful to have.
I see the dark side of it too. Like I understand the dark side of it, but it comes to everything. It comes to everything. Have two way. You abuse it, it's gonna be bad.
Oh yeah. Oh man, it looks really. They're only starting the trials now. Supposedly, this is the beginning of the trials, so we'll have to see how it goes.
What do you think? Like, let us know how are you gonna be agreeing for having AI women, or you disagree? Just like what Lindsay said, that's some form. Not entirely disagree. We'll at least have the concerns.
Yeah, of it running wild. At this point, I feel like people would. We could go on a whole tangent about it. But yeah, comment down below. We'll link the article that we have. I have an article about what's going on, and please let us know what you think. If you disagree, if you think every child should be born in an artificial womb, tell us why. Because honestly, like, giving birth sucks ass.
That's why, that's my consideration that I don't know if I can ever cross that line.
I mean, I told you what happened during my birth.
Yeah, it sounds painful.
It wasn't fun. It was, yeah, because I didn't know this. Babies feel the distress of pregnancy as well. I mean, I understood it, but I didn't understand it.
But you can't control your distress when you're distressed.
I know. But like, oh my god, yeah. When she smiles, it's worth it. When you have kids, when they smile, it's worth it.
That come from the parents, by the way.
Yeah. It's so grueling. I'm really tired, y'all.
Well, see you guys next time. Bye.